everyone, it's Chris from the Evermore podcast, Newcastle United podcast, and the Evermore YouTube channel. Just back in the room has it video. It's been a few days since we've done one of these, but as we're coming at the last couple of weeks of the transfer windows, a few names getting thrown around for players in key positions that we're going to get stuck into and have a little look at for you. So we're going to cover one main player here, and then we're going to give you a bit of an update on some other targets as well that have been linked previously. So just before we do a little bit of housekeeping, if you haven't already, please click that like and subscribe button. We'd love you to come on board. We've got loads of content coming in the next few weeks as the season's now in full flow. So we've got the What's Going On every Monday. We've got the Evermore podcast on Wednesdays. And we've also got transfer videos like this, as well as post-match reviews and previews popping up all over the channel. So smash the button, come and join us, help us get that 1,700 subscriber mark. We'll really appreciate that. So let's get stuck into this player we're talking about then. So we've been linked to loads of attacking players recently, which is the key areas that we really feel that we need to fill. But quite interesting enough, off the back of the Manchester City game and the Brighton game, it looks pretty clear to me, I think, that in the squad we need a defensive midfielder, someone that can break up the play, someone that can win the ball back, someone that can sniff out, those killer through passes that the opposing teams are playing. Brighton did it against us, De Bruyne did it against us. Yes, he's De Bruyne, but we seem to lack that player in the squad. Joe Linton and Bruno are very box to box. Great at going forward as well as coming back as well. But we need somebody who's got that defensive nous about them. And this brings us very much to this player that we're talking about here. So the player we have been linked to is Ajax's Mexican international, Edson Álvarez, 24 years old, over 6 foot tall, a real quality defensive midfielder. His key strengths, as Mark's highlighted there, is tackling, his blocks, aerial duels, and passing. He does like a yellow card, though, so he does like to give a free kick away as well. But he's a combative midfielder. You can see from his heat map there, he's everywhere all over the pitch. He's a proper defensive midfielder. Last-ditch tackles. When a centre forward's just beat the press and he's coming behind you, your back four, and you're thinking this is a goal. This is the lad that slides in and clears the ball away. A very, very talented footballer and a really good player in that defensive mould. The kind of player that I think we lack massively. You can see where he sits against Joe Linton there. Joe Linton's more of an attacker-minded midfielder, I think, box to box. Yes, he's brilliant at breaking up the play and everything, but Joe Linton, when he runs it, a team scares the crap out of them, as does Bruno. But I think if you had a player like Edson Álvarez behind him, I think this would be the perfect complement to those two lads in midfield. So you could have Alvarez sitting deep, protecting that back four, for those through balls, for the counter attacks from other teams, getting those last ditch tackles in, winning those aerial duels, and then setting Bruno and Joe Linton off with maybe 5 or 10 yards further up the pitch. So I think this would be a fantastic bit of business if the club could pull this off. So last season, just to kind of run through his stats really. So Edson Álvarez played 31 games in the Eredivisie. So that shows you their consistency. Doesn't get injured a lot, which is great. 5 goals, 1 assist, and 5 yellow cards. So that's pretty good for a defensive midfielder's position. Played 7 Champions League games as well. Got 4 yellow cards in them. So overall, 41 games, 5 goals, 1 assist, and 9 yellow cards. So not too bad for a defensive midfielder. They're always going to be combative. They're always going to get themselves in those positions where they might get booked. So the news came out that we've had a bid rejected. So this was in the Sunday Mirror. The Sunday papers, make what you will of them. But 35 million quid bid rejected by Ajax for this player. Obviously, they're not very keen to lose him. I think that, Ten Hag's been sniffing around him as well. I think, obviously, they lost Martinez, the 5'9" centre-half to Manchester United through Ten Hag. So they're very conscientious about not losing the top players. But, I think looking at every player's got a price, and I think that this player maybe, we could do a bit of business here. 35 million quid isn't too bad for a player of that quality. I think if we would have maybe bid another maybe 5 or 6, take it to that beyond that 40 million quid mark, we might be able to do business there. But Ajax are obviously very keen to keep a hold of the lad. But you can see some of his percentages per 90 minutes there as well. I mean, his tackles there, he's doing 2.75 tackles a game. He's winning 1.13 of those. His pressures as well, his interceptions, he's winning aerial duels nearly 70%. His pass completions right up there in the 92 percentile. So this kid's a real player, and obviously an international footballer as well with 54 caps. So he's no kind of green behind the gills type of player. He could really add some quality to that midfield and add some bite in there as well. So I'll be very interested to see how this one plays out. Of course, we do need attacking talent as well. But I do think a player like Alvarez could be absolutely sensational in our squad because we lack them massively. Longstaff can't do it. Willock can't do it. And Bruno and Joe Litton can do it. But I think it takes away other parts of the game they're probably better at. So watch the space on that one. I'd love to see that deal get done. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you think Alvarez would be a good sign or not. But moving on to the other updates of players. So Joao Pedro is the name that's doing the rounds now at the minute. So depending on who you believe, you've got the Oracle of Transfers in Fabrizio Romano saying that the deal's done. And normally when he says the deal's done, the deal is done. But we have been here before with Ekatike. So, let's not count our chickens before the hatch. Other journalists have poured cold water on it. I think Craig Hope, Luke Edwards, a couple of others have said that as far as they're concerned that the deal isn't being done. So, yeah, it could be a little bit of, cat and mouse here. The Watford owners are a little bit unpredictable. So, I would kind of, watch and wait to see that breaking Sky Sports News yellow bar comes up generally for these kind of deals. Now that's kind of where you need to be. But I've got my feelings about Joao Pedro. The lad might prove me wrong. 21 years old, doesn't take up a squad place, got loads of potential. So yeah, let's see what happens with that one. The other players that have been linked are players that have been linked before. So apparently the deal for Maddison is not dead. It's still very much on the table. Newcastle have bid 50 million quid. And it's a take it or leave it type of a deal for Leicester, I think, now, where Leicester are looking for 60. I think we've offered 50. I don't know whether Dubravka's part of that 50, but we've offered 50, and it's cash up front, apparently, not staggered. So Leicester have got a big decision to make there. They're financially in a bit of bother. They're obviously looking at Wesley Fofana as well, who's trying to push and move through at Chelsea. I think if Fofana goes to Chelsea, they won't sell Maddison. But if Maddison comes to us, they won't sell Fofana. And Fofana's kicking a more stink than Maddison is at the minute. So it's not good for Leicester. But also, the other story is that apparently if Leicester decide to play silly buggers and want 60 million quid for Maddison, that we'll pull the plug and we'll go elsewhere. So the other deal that we're talking about is a plan B for Maddison, which is Lucas Paqueta. Now, Lucas Paqueta's money his transfer fees is slashed quite a lot. I think when the window first opened, it was 65 million. It's dropped to 40, and now apparently Lyon would do a deal about 35, I think. So you look at the 35 million quid for Paqueta versus 50 million quid for Maddison. It might be a better bit of business to get Paqueta in. Brilliant player, Brazilian international. He's got that friendship with Bruno, which means it'll be easier for him to settle in. You've got Joe Linton there as well. I'm sure he'd welcome open arms. We have three amigos, the three Brazilian wonders playing in black and white shirts. So I'm not fussed either way. If you can bring either one of these two players and improve the squad massively. There's still Chelsea players being spoken about, Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi, Conor Gallagher on loan. So there's loads of business deals still on the table for Newcastle. So I think this next week and a half to 2 weeks could be really interesting for the club. We'll be keeping an eye on it at Evermore. Obviously, we'll be trying to bring out any transfer videos we can, any other links. But, let us know what you guys think in the comments below, who you take out of that lot. I still love Maddison. I think he's a brilliant player, and I'd love to see him in a black and white shirt. But any one of those players really improves us massively. So, let's just hope that the club can get the business done. If you can sign a defensive midfield like Alvarez to cover that spot, and then if you can get yourself another couple of really good attacking players in, be any of those four, Maddison, Paqueta, Pulisic, you name it. Conor Gallagher as well. Sensational players that improve the Newcastle squad exponentially. So let's keep an eye on everything, guys. Let's hope that, the last couple of weeks of the transfer window is a busy one for Newcastle. We get a lot of players in. I'm sure there'll be players out as well. There's players that aren't really part of the squad that aren't getting much game time. We've already seen the likes of Dwight Gale and Kieran Clark go. I'm sure there'll be some other players that follow suit as well. But it should be a busy couple of weeks towards the end of the window for Newcastle United. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. And as I said at the start, if you like what we do, and you like these videos, please smash that button, hit the like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well so you don't miss out on any of the videos, whether it's the weekly podcast or the pop-up transfer videos like this. We'll be back soon with another one, I'm sure. This is Chris signing off. Let's keep supporting that team. We'll call United, and we'll catch you later. Cheers, guys.